golf or anything.
Well, then the engine lights on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the tire, I knew the tire sensor.
Tires, yeah. But the tire was low, so.
It was? Okay.
So that was probably legit.
The sensor's on, so you're like, I don't know.
Those damn sensors go. No, the thing is, they're like $100 a piece, which is not really terrible, but you just kind of take the whole wheel off. Put it on.
Yeah.
What, you know,
I think it's a crock. $100 a piece for those. But I get it.
I know.
I don't think you need it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I can tell the tires.
By looking at it.
And you can.
He's doing well. They just bought a new.
Either way.
Okay. So it's at roundabout right now?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Like I said.
But did he take it? He did, okay. Okay.
But it's gonna be.
Which is fine. Esteban is gone, so.
Okay. So you guys drove it like, yeah.
I built a muscle around the joint, because the joints want to pop out.
Welcome.
So,
Holiday season was good?
it's just a matter of going to.
Busy?
A blur, but like, yes.
Good.
And they
Do you guys do those gifts for their families? Do they have like, do they come and pick it up, or do you guys take it to them, or?
They come and pick it up.
Yeah, we're gonna take some on dollars. Because we don't have to jump from 11.
Yeah.
It'll just be straight 13, 14. Summer's taking
Yeah.
I feel really low here. Maybe because I'm short, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling really low here.
I don't know. I'm not.
That's why.
There we go. 2 seconds.
Now I'm above you, baby. Now I'm up here.
Oh.
Yeah, up high. Yeah. No. Today's my first day back. You know I'm never on vacation, right?
We were laughing about it when I was there on Saturday.
You know what though? No. Everyone else is good.
It's not just me. Yeah.
No, it's not.
I've got 6:30, so I think it's time to get started here. I want to officially call this meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council to order. And the first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Is there any
Move approval of the agenda.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, it's been moved seconded to approve the agenda as presented. We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next item is communications. If you wish to address the city council on items that are on the agenda, just wait until that item comes up. And if you're here to address the council on any other items not on the agenda, come forward, 5 minutes. Make sure the light's on green, and Nicole is up first.
And I invited Nicole.
Yes.
So
Yep.
she goes over, she can have my time.
Nicole McAlexander. I am not a Mount Vernon resident, but I'm here in my capacity as Executive Director for Southeast Lynn Community Center. I talked to Mark about coming to just share some updates, highlights from our year. I put together the materials for our budget request and sent to Marcia, but just wanted to come in person and one, to say thank you for your continued support, and two, just to share some of what your dollars have done to impact families in Mount Vernon over the last year. So one of our really exciting things from this year was our new summer meals program. So for the first time, we offered free summer meals geared to students in Lisbon and Mount Vernon, but open to anyone. We wanted it to be low barrier, so we had kids come with grandparents, kids come with their babysitters, just people sharing a meal together every weekday this summer. So 2 days a week it was here in Mount Vernon, 3 days a week in Lisbon, so there was access in both communities. And we were able to provide over 2,600 lunches through that program with over 100 volunteers that helped with that. We averaged 49 people a day coming to that program, which was more than the Coralville Pantry had at theirs. So I'm pretty proud of that program. So
Nicole, I apologize. Normally this isn't back and forth. I just have.
No.
Where was the location in Mount Vernon?
We did at Mount Vernon Methodist and at First Press.
And I assume in Lisbon it was at
Our facility.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
apologize.
So looking forward to continuing that this summer and hoping maybe in the future to be able to do 5 days a week in both communities, depending on capacity. So our other big news is that we have opened a satellite site of our food pantry on the Cornell campus for Cornell students and staff. So really excited about that. We're collaborating with the Student Health Center there on campus. They had identified a need among some students for better food access, and so working with us instead of starting their own pantry. So we opened in November, and that's going really well, and it is open over the break for the students that are there over break and don't have access to the full dining services. So really happy with that collaboration and being able to help out our neighbors here at Cornell. So collaboration has kind of been our theme for a while, but really I think as federal funding cuts happen and as need continues to grow, the more that we can work with others, the better we're able to expand our reach and our capacity. So we're a part of the Lynn County Pantry Partners Group, and through that we did a joint sign up for holiday food boxes so that we could collectively reach as many households as possible. So between November and December holidays, we collectively reached over 3,000 households in the Lynn County area with holiday food boxes. So I'm excited to work with our peers at other organizations to spread what we can all do together. Also part of a food access working group, and then I'm on the board of the Iowa Hunger Coalition, which is a statewide advocacy group, so trying to improve our food system. And then chair a committee for the Greater Cedar Rapids Community Foundation, and I'm on the board for the Housing Fund for Lynn County. And then we just started a new collaboration with the city of Ely because they had reached out. They don't have a food pantry and wanted to help improve access for their community as well. So really trying to work on food insecurity in our area beyond just handing out food at the pantry. At the pantry, we had in our most recent fiscal year, we had over 3,400 visits to the pantry, nearly 800 people. And of those, it's 110 households from Mount Vernon and 300 Mount Vernon residents that utilized the pantry over our last fiscal year. Through our crisis assistance program, we helped stabilize 20 Mount Vernon households with dealing with water shutoff or overdue rent, avoiding eviction. So $8,000 went to those 20 households. Still continued the pool passes, the LBC scholarships. So we did 300 people got to utilize the pool this summer through that scholarship. Through the LBC, we gave out 210 discounted months at the LBC to 51 different people utilizing that. Free school supplies and backpacks for 68 Mount Vernon students. And our community gardens raised over 7,000 pounds of fresh produce. So a lot of healthy food to give out in the community, which works out to a pound per person in Lisbon and Mount Vernon. So it's a lot of veggies. A lot of hard-working volunteers that make that happen. And continuing our senior programming, Meals on Wheels, free rides for seniors, our clothing closet. So many programs, I can't share them all in 5 minutes, but open invitation to all of you anytime to come and visit or learn more about our programs, or any groups or anyone in the community that wants to learn more. We're always happy to come share, come answer questions. And we know as you head into budgets, that you're mindful of all of the need in the community and in our state as a whole. But in the last 2 months, our food pantry saw 40% more visits than those same 2 months in 2024. So we know that there's more and more people needing help. And with new SNAP restrictions and the end of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, we know even more households are going to be looking for help through our services. So just want to say again, thank you, and thank you for making all of this possible and continuing your support and making it so that we can support those here in Mount Vernon. Thank you.
We are so fortunate to have Southeast Lynn in our community and your leadership and with all the volunteers and so on. So thank you very, very much.
It's very much a team effort. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. Did the Cornell site ever get a cooler, refrigerator, or
Yes.
freezer?
Yes, that's a refrigerator. Yeah.
So they've got this.
And a refrigerator freezer unit. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Anybody else? Consent agenda, approval of the city council minutes in December. A chance to look at that?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Scott. Second. Paul, move second to approve the Consent agenda of the council minutes from December 15th. We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The motion carries. No public hearing. We've got a third reading. Ordinance approval. Ordinance 12-1-2025A, providing for vacation advance on a public alley adjacent to lots 1, 2, 7, and 8 in blocks 3 of Hall's First Edition, the City of Mount Vernon. I think we got a reply. There were no comments to City Hall about that process. And we have the final third reading.
I would move approval of the final and third reading of ordinance number 12-1-2025A, alley vacation. Second?
Great. Seconded. Chris, were you going to say something? Okay, I thought. Moved and seconded to approve the third and final reading for this public alley. And if there are no questions or comments, if we're ready to vote on that vacation. For the third and final reading, this is a roll call vote, so Marcia, it's yours.
Sherwood,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Hanson, Player. Yes.
And that ordinance passes, third reading. Moving to motions for approval, we got a claims list this afternoon from Marcia. Any questions, staff? We're ready to move forward on it.
I would move approval of the claims list as presented on the second and then this afternoon.
Thank you, Craig. Is there a second?
Second.
Craig and Mark, moved and seconded to approve the most recent claims list. No questions? We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, this is a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of the replacement of wireless access points in the LBC. Council action is needed. Mr. Siders, do you want to weigh in here, or
Again, so
Tracy?
every 5 years, we're asked to update our equipment, IT equipment. One of these pieces is the wireless access points for wireless Wi-Fi in the building. And so we're actually reducing the number of units, and we're having to move a few units in order to make it more accessible in the future to replace them. So,
With the reduction, I assume we'll still have the coverage we need.
correct. These are actually better units than what we had before, and we have found out that we can reduce them.
Excellent. Unless there are questions or concerns, I would move approval of the Tri-City Electric invoice for $2,813 for the improvement to wireless access points at LBC.
Scott, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded for the replacement of the wireless access points at LBC. Move forward with that. And as a voice vote, so if we're ready to vote on it, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion consideration of the GMT invoice 5-275814 on the historic preservation design guidelines. Council action as needed. Anything to add?
No, the invoice is in the amount of $2,370.37, represents essentially 90% completion of the project.
We move approval of JMT invoice number 5-275814, the HPC design guidelines, $2,370.37 to JMT.
Second. Paul and Mark, moved and seconded. Move forward with this GMT invoice.
Quick question before we move to
Sure.
the vote. So we're at 90% of the budgeted expectation, I guess, I suppose. Are we 90%
They have a
completed
rough
on
draft
work?
copy of the design guidelines. It's a bit wordy, but. it
That's
is,
historic preservation. So.
Yeah, they definitely got the money's worth on it. It's just a matter of reviewing that out.
Is it similar, I mean, I guess I'm envisioning something similar to the master plan for the I mean, obviously not that comprehensive, but is that kind of what we're looking at when we?
I don't know, at 110 pages, it's almost as comprehensive. It's similar.
Okay.
So it goes through history, justification, best practices, and then presents some guidelines that preferences of HPC would like to see. Those preferences are probably what is going to be, most reviewed.
All right, sounds good, thank you.
I think it was in December when HPC had a representative here, and I was wondering if it was going to show for it, but there were 15, 20 people here, and with very interesting comments, challenges, questions, and so on. So it was a very good back and forth discussion that filled up the seating here. The presenter from Pennsylvania, I think is where she was from. But good. Process continues. We have a motion to approve this JMT invoice. No other comments or questions? Ready to vote on it? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next is discussion and consideration of polling place agreement 2026, Berlin County. Council action as needed.
This one's just for City Hall, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So we don't have to do one for St. John's?
I assume they get one.
Well, they do, they have their own agreement,
Okay.
but
Doesn't go through us?
no.
Just because it's a city facility.
Is it, I mean, I've been on council long enough, I feel like I would have remembered one of these. Is this a new thing, or?
I'm assuming it is because we, normally what they do is just send me the requirements in order to stay a polling place. We've never really had an agreement with an option, per se.
It looks like you're going to have to do it each year now.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's a just 2026, so.
As a matter of fact, all of the ADA requirements that we did on the back side of City Hall were based upon recommendations or requirements that Lynn County gave us as part of the election process, so. I'm gonna roll with it and.
Okay. I mean, it seemed reasonable, I don't ever remember seeing one of these prior to this, so.
No, but there have been a lot of changes as it relates to voting procedures, when we can hold certain votes, so on and so forth, so wouldn't be surprised.
It could be a new requirement from the state to have this done each year. I've worked early voting for 5 years, and Tim Yancey, who signed on this, I know who he is, and so maybe it's just a new.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, normally it's an email, and they just ask if we're okay doing it, and we have been in the past. I debated about whether or not this needed to be a formal council, but since I got an agreement, I'm like, might as well have you review it.
For those enthralled with this discussion at home, this doesn't change where anybody votes. This is just agreeing to the requirements for being a polling place.
Yeah, we are agreeing to access during their hours, essentially ensuring that we have ADA compatibility, just maintaining those facilities.
And it includes the port in that corner of the room with the sign on it, right? Isn't that the phone access there? Is it-
Oh, yes, they do have phone access coming.
Well, unless there were other questions or concerns, I would move approval of the Lynn County polling place agreement for the upcoming 2026 election season.
Scott, is there a second?
Second.
I'll take Mark on that one. Scott and Mark, moved and seconded for the 2026 polling agreement for the county. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next, discussion consideration of the proposed replacement of the awnings for City Hall. Thank God for making this happen here. At least get in process.
The
Add the theory.
The estimate's $11,561. Lori did reach out to a number of people. This is one of the only proposals that was returned to the city. You checked with other places and they,
There's not a lot of
Similar
them around
numbers.
here. The closest I could find was Dubuque that does this, or is willing to do this.
we did, I think we pressure washed the existing awnings during COVID. And then mildew once it takes away, I mean, that's.
We were trying to figure out how old they are.
Old.
Meredith started in 2008 and they were on here then, so before that. They don't owe us anything. They're in great shape, they just look terrible. I know it sounds bad. They've held up through wind and storms and derecho but they,
I was elected in '99, started in my first term in 2000, and I do not remember ever changing those, so.
So that was, what?
So we have an invoice for $11,561, but language that says up to $12,500. What do you want us to do?
So the awnings themselves are the 11,561. We're asking for approval up to 12,500 because when they quoted this, it wasn't to install. So we would prefer that they install them.
And that is going to look similar to what it does now, the awnings themselves.
That's a great question. We gotta figure out fabric color.
Yeah, we shouldn't just.
We're gonna let you guys vote on fabric color.
Yeah,
we want to wade into that.
We will send options. For
Okay, yeah.
It's like a video on that table.
Right, that'll be the one thing people email me about.
Yeah, it could be, the Halloween party.
Anyway, I would move approval of replacing the awnings here on City Hall, and not to exceed $12,500 in doing so.
I will second that.
Thank you. Scott Shireen, it's moved and seconded to move forward the replacing the awnings at City Hall, all three of them. And if there are no other comments or questions from staff, ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And there's 5 of them, right?
And
There's
I just want to say too, yeah, it's important that, I just think it's
Oh, yeah,
important
okay,
to keep
I
City
see
Hall.
that. I saw the quantity was 5, but that 5th one is the installation.
Their excess apostrophes are
Okay.
Item 6 is discussion consideration of setting a public hearing date for consideration of an ordinance establishing an electric transmission franchise agreement in the city of Mount Vernon and ITC Midwest LLC.
Deja vu all over again.
Well, yeah, you've already approved this, and we'll probably ask, as long as all 5 council members will be present at the next meeting, we just waive readings and basically go for first to third. It's a 4 and 20 public hearing notice date. When you look at the actual notice versus when we have a public hearing, it's just outside that window. Because it's a 20-year agreement, I don't want to leave anything to chance, so it's easier just to have you go back in and re-adopt it within that 20-day window than it is to fight the battle should somebody challenge it in the future.
So in our motion, are we setting the date for the 19th?
Correct. I only need 4, unless, like I said, it doesn't matter, we can still, it's not a, I mean, ITC is giving themselves like an entire year and a half in order to get these adopted, so it's not pressing, but.
So, Paul, you won't be here on the 19th?
I will not. I will be in Puerto Vallarta.
Well, I mean, it was a yes, no, you didn't have to go.
In Boonville.
I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway, we got the beach guy over here. Everybody else going to be here for the 19th?
I should be getting into
Yes.
Boston the night before, so yeah.
Again, it was a yes, no. All right.
I would move
Thank you.
approval of setting a public hearing date for our next meeting, January 19th, for the transmission franchise agreement.
I'll second.
Thank you, Craig and Scott. It's moved and seconded to move forward the ITC electric transmission franchise agreement. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of a professional services agreement with Snyder and Associates for the creation of an EMS district plat. Council action as needed.
This was the next step. I believe Lynn County just completed theirs. Snyder and Associates did their work as well. $7,500 to create the plat. It's a requirement in order to hold the vote. We've already agreed to move this process forward, so it's just the next stage.
Would this plat be specific only to the EMS district, or could we use it for other, would there be other purposes that we would use it for?
I mean, you could theoretically use it for informational purposes, but the plat itself is specific to the EMS district.
I forgot that we had annexed a chunk of town north of us. I looked at that map first, I was like, what is going on?
We did that.
We used to have this nice
I
square,
don't know, you were there for that. You wrote it down.
we'll have an annex to 3 sides.
Date for that, I know that's not part of this motion here, but still.
They've got 30 days from this approval to prepare the class.
With that, I would move approval of the $7,500 quote from Snyder and Associates for the professional services agreement for the EMS district plat in the amount of $7,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, Mark, moving second to move forward with the Snyder and Associates professional services agreement from the EMS district plat. If there are no other comments or questions, ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion consideration of purchasing and equipping a patrol vehicle. It's that time again, huh?
It is.
It is. So, I believe the MSRP is for the Explorer is $55,175. The government price is just over $48,000. By the time that we equip them, though, it's closer to $65,000 by the time. That's what we budget for anyway. Sometimes we will reuse equipment when we can. This is, I believe, one of the Lisbon vehicles that we're.
Yeah, this was the one we.
So, won't be using any equipment with this one.
Is this, I know in the past we've had 1 or 2 hybrid vehicles, or, I don't know if full hybrid would be the phrase.
They weren't, hybrid, full hybrid vehicle, but they were kind of the reduced emissions
kind of
thing.
situation.
There was some issues with those, the engines, and there was a lot of warranty work that needed to be done. We kind of moved away from those, and not just us, it's the whole profession. So
Well, this is part of the CIP, I mean, this is, we've specifically
Yeah, we do,
budgeted on a 5-year rotation, so.
We do, like I said, replace a squad every year, try to maintain that 5-year rotation. The only difference would be the canine vehicles treated slightly different. When we get to that purchase, we'll probably be able to go Tahoe as opposed to the Explorer, just because it offers a little bit more space for the canine unit. But again, that vehicle is the only one that's pretty specific to that officer and the canine officer, so the rest are just rotated throughout.
It was a major step when we started actually budgeting on a cycle time many years ago. It really assisted the department in knowing the flow and assisted council in knowing the flow, and there were no surprises. I think it's the value to the city is we have well-maintained vehicles out there which are safer for the officers and safer for the citizens. With that, I would move approval of purchasing and equipping the patrol vehicle for approximately $65,000. Or, I'm sorry, for the numbers, the hard number you.
So you can approve, I mean, I would always ask for an estimate, or, a not to exceed 70,000, just because it's, like I said, it's right around 65.
I would move to not to exceed 70,000.
Got a motion there, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Paul Serene. That was 70,000 cap. Moved and seconded to move forward with the patrol vehicle purchase as offered here with a cap. If there are no other comments or questions from staff, ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is discussion consideration of pay estimate number 2 with Ratchie Construction on the Rachel Street improvements.
They were working like fury out there today.
Yeah, I would imagine
last
this would
week.
be a good week for them. Just a note to the council, we have received pay estimate 2 in the amount of $76,460. They claim there's a pay estimate 1 and $112,000 $2,795.72. We haven't seen that yet, we haven't paid that, so we will reach out to the engineers to ask where pay estimate 1 is at. That will likely be on your next agenda, but just as a note, you are approving pay application 2, that's what we've received.
Is it B&K or is it with Gretchen?
It's with Rachi. B&K does so B&K will verify quantities and verify that it matches where they should be at this stage, so.
Okay.
With that explanation, I would move approval of pay estimate number 2 for the Rachel Street improvements in the amount of $76,400.60.
Scott, is there a second?
Second.
By Mark. It's moved and seconded to move forward with pay estimate number 2, officially numbered, with Rachi Construction on the Rachel Street project. And if there are no other comments or questions, the staff, ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no reports, no discussion items. Reports of mayor, council administrator. For mayor's report, I'd probably interject 2 items. First of all, I'll ask with Chris's agreement to get from Public Works from Eldon, how much we put together for the trail, what we have done, that Mount Vernon has carried the load on, the start of the inner-river trail. I haven't done the adding yet from his computations, but I want to make sure that the county is aware of it, and also City of Cedar Rapids, how much we have put into it, and also Lynn County Trails Association, about how much Mount Vernon has put towards this trail, and kind of prod them along a little bit to get this process going here. We've stepped up big time here, thanks to Eldon staff, frankly. So it's time for everybody else to join in this partnership here if it's going to mean anything. So that was number 1. The second thing I was going to mention is Chris has been hiding his lamp under a bushel here, I think, but I think you're on the agenda for Thursday, 1 o'clock, at the LBC series. And this is, you can always tell the premier speakers for the series if they're the first one. Chris is the first one.
So does it go downhill from like every year? Is that what we're saying?
I'm just saying he's got the prime position.
Okay.
This is the State of the Union address.
Is that what I mean, like?
It's a state of the city.
Yeah, it'll be
It's been good.
it'll be a slightly different conversation this year, because the truth is, we don't know. I mean, the general session will start here in another week, but we really have zero idea if we'll be doing 2 projects or 8 projects, or what that will even look like. If we can continue to buy a police vehicle every year out of the general fund, or we can't. I can tell you that based upon estimates, we were expected to lose last year and this year in out of the general fund. So if they don't make any changes to property tax, and depending on what they do with property tax, will have a resounding effect to what we're doing. We do have money. I should point out that there are sales tax and franchise fees and other things that do have balances that we can use. However, they're very specific to the uses that we can pay for them. So,
And congratulations on selling the Public Works site.
yeah, hopefully that will, working with the attorney on that.
What?
I told Eldon today,
You're going to be out of there next week.
Eldon and Pat were in my office this morning, and I said, well, the good news is, we might have a buyer, and the bad news is, you're gonna have to be out by April. So you're gonna have to start working right now.
How many reasons to get out there?
Yeah, that's one of those good problems to have. I guess we would say.
Sort of.
It's easy for me to say that, I have nothing to do with it.
So it snows.
You can always have a work day invite to council.
Yeah.
There will be some,
Need heat in there?
work as it relates to that. We are currently working with B&K on sewer that will eventually have to connect Bryant Road to 17th, 3rd.
That's north and south, right?
Yes. That'll be part of a much larger network, potentially, eventually serving the north side of the tracks, which we haven't been able to do. we service the mobile home court. Is about the only thing on the north side that we service by sewer.
And that's because they have their own pump station.
Yep. So, yeah, I think good things are still happening. They're just getting awfully creative on how we're making them happen. So,
All that pipe is in the fields to the west, is that for that north-south run in Armstrong, former Armstrong property?
no, as a matter of fact, they are planning to open that last addition to Stonebrook.
That they just bought?
Those 10 acres, I think you might see an amended plat. I think there was originally 31 lots, and they'd like to reduce that number to 25 based upon when it's selling. So that will be 25 more lots than what we were expecting as part of that entire subdivision. I think that had 91 or 93, I think, total.
Either do that one, or starting that one next summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if they do, that's over 100 homes, and most of them are valued at $500,000 or more. So it's not great for affordable housing per se, but when you're on my side and looking at the budget, those are great houses to have.
I have nothing else to add as a mayor's report. Any council reports, committee reports?
Just want to thank Nicole for coming in again. And, you know, she does an exceptional job, and thank you, and anything I can do to continue helping. But, you know, it's nice to see, you know, as you watch the news, a lot of these food pantries struggling so much, and Nicole keeps ours together and really expands it, and just does an amazing job at that, and I think we're just so lucky to have you, so thank you.
Anything else from the council? Anything else that needs to come before this meeting? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
I hope this is the hardest council meeting you ever have to attend. Because that means you just
Oh, great.
swim, dance, game.
I don't know, I heard it's all